Let's work on problem number 4 from page 43, which is going to be a very similar problem to the one that you are going to have to complete for the homework. But this one is on the supply side, the other one is going to be on the demand side. So let's see, quantity supplied equals minus 200 plus 20 px minus 5 pi plus 0.5 pz. Now, since you completed reading the theory and some applications from the supply side, at this point you should know that px is price of the good x, pi is the price of input in the production process, any inputs, and z is going to be another good that's related to our good x. Our good x is over here. And of course, qs is quantity supplied of good x. Now, let's see what the problem says. For A, based on the supply curve above, what is the relationship between good x and good z? So, we have to figure out if good x and good z are substitute goods or if they are complementary goods. Now, as you remember from the theory, the PowerPoints that you read up to this point, this sign in front of z, this plus sign, tells us that as price of the good z increases, because of this plus sign we have quantity supplied of good x over here, but good x is going to increase, so they are positively related. And as we've learned, positive relationship between z and x means that x and z are complements good. Complements goods, x and z. So we answer the first question here. And for B, we have to answer what is the equation of the supply curve if input price. So we have price of the inputs, which is over here, is $10. And the price of Z, the other good, the complementary good, now we know it's a complementary good, is 20. So what we have to do now, we have to plug into the equation above. That's our equation that we work with. So we have Qx equals minus 200 plus 20 px minus 5 substitutes for price of input 10 plus 0.5 times 20. So if you solve it through, you are going to end up with, open up these terms here, so you are going to minus 200 plus 20 px minus 50 plus 10. So then we add 10 minus 50, that's minus 40, minus 200, that's going to be minus 240, and that stays the way it is. So moving on to the next page. Moving on to the next page, we are going to have the final equation is going to be Qs equals minus 240 plus 20 px. Okay, so that's the final equation with the input prices given and the PZ given. And that was B. For C, you have to graph this final form of the equation showing the intercepts and slope here. Okay, so that's going to be quantity supply of good X, and that's going to be price of the good X. So let's see. We have to, how do we find the intercepts? So for the intercepts, we have quantity supply equals 0, which means 20 px equals 240. So that means px equals 240 divided by 20, 12. So that's our intersection here, 12. And then we do the other intercept. Px equals 0. As we can see, Px equals 0. It makes Qs equals minus 240. Where is our minus 240? It has to be on the negative side here. We don't have enough space here, but it's going to be on the negative line here. So that's going to be our quantity supply. And then the slope is going to be rise over run, which is 12 divided by 240. We have a positive slope on the supply side. So that's going to make our slope 0.05. So we are done with that was C. Let's see what we have for D. D. What is the minimum price at which the firm will supply any good X at all? D. What is the minimum price? So, minimum price, that means starting of quantity supplied equals 0, going up. What is the minimum price for which I want to supply anything? So setting quantity supplied equals to 0, then we are going to have quantity supplied equals 0 using the equation that we had. What was the equation? Let's remember. Qs is minus 240 plus 20 px. So 0 equals minus 240 plus 20 px. That means 20 px is 240. So that means px is 240 divided by 20, $12. That's the minimum price. E, if the price of good X is 25. If the price of good X, if Px is 25, what is the quantity supplied? Quantity supplied. Show this point on your supply curve. So let's see. In again, our final form of quantity supplied is minus 240 plus 20 px. Substitute for px over here. So then you are going to have quantity supply minus 240 times 20 times 25. That's going to be, final response is going to be minus 240 plus 20 times 25 minus 240 plus 20 times 25. Let's see how much that is. 500. So that's going to be final result 240. 500 minus 240, 260. So let's see how we show that. Remember the original graph. Quantity supplied of X, price of X. We had, that was our data, it was 12, and here was negative 240. So now we have 260. It's going to be somewhere here. Quantity 260, somewhere on the supply curve. And finally, the last F. we have now suppose the price of input falls to $5. All the other variables stay the same as in previous calculations. So let's just calculate quantity supply again. Quantity supplied is minus 200 plus 20 px minus 5 times 5, this new input prices, plus 0.5 times 20. This one stays the same. 20 price of goods, Z doesn't change. So then we work it through. So it's going to be minus 200 plus 20 px minus 25 plus 10. So let's see, minus 200 minus 225 plus 10 minus 215 plus 20 px. That's the new form of the equation. And then graph the new supply curve. To be able to graph, we need the new intercepts. Qx equals 0. So using this formula, 0 equals minus 215 plus 20 px. That means 20 px is 215. So px is going to be 215 divided by 20 is going to be 10.75. That's one intercept. Then let's find the other intercept. So we have again Qs equals minus 215 plus 20 px. Now let's suppose px is 0. The other intercept is going to be Qs equals minus 215. Now let's graph that. Quantity supplied, price of good X. Let's see in relationship to our old quantity supplied. That was 12 minus 240. Now we have the new intercept is 10.75, and the new intercept over here, just calculated here, minus 215. So this one is gonna be another QS2 below our original graph.